So I'm going to take this minute and I'm going to introduce you to our speaker. Today's guest speaker is Mark. He is the founder of the Member Savings Program, and Mark has over 23 years of business experience in operations, business development, and general management in both small and large and startup and mature cable television systems. So in 2002, Mark started his own venture, the Member Savings Program, and the MSP provides turnkey, private labeled affinity marketing programs to trade associations like the SMA and other membership-based programs. The MSP has a comprehensive portfolio which includes over 35 business-to-business service offerings as well as 1,100 vendor business-to-consumer that assist member businesses, member staff, and family members to save money on their day-to-day business and personal expenses. So Mark is going to share some great information with us. So Mark, take it away.
Thanks very much, Tara. We appreciate it. We appreciate the partnership with the SMA and working with your members. And we think it's a win-win situation where in the perfect world, at the end of every year, we can talk and hopefully have saved your members multiple times their annual dues to SMA. So it becomes essentially a free membership and gets to put some more money on their bottom line. So that's our objective. So today we've got several speakers to go over some pretty diverse services that we can bring to the table and offer some leverage on the buying side to help you get better prices on a whole host of services. So this is how SMA helps you directly save money. One of the things I always like to do is give you the bottom line first, and then we'll get into the details. After this presentation, you might jot down this URL that's on our slide here. This is what we call the one-stop shop registration page, where you'll see all the services. There's over 30 business services, and as Tara said, there's 1,100 consumer services as well. And you literally go to this page, you check off which services might be of interest to you to compare pricing on, and then we call you back afterwards and say we see you had interest in certain services. Here's some details about the program, and here's how we get you connected to the program. So if there's one URL or piece of information today you want to hang on to, it would be that particular URL. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how we are assisting members in many, actually 35 different trade associations, and introduce you to some speakers from some of our key suppliers. Those suppliers are Transamerica, which is the largest provider of 401k programs in the country. Batteries Plus Bulb is one of our newest suppliers that's doing great, and the reception from our members has been terrific on this. Alliant Business Insurance, Andy Sturgio is joining us, and we'll go over the program and the opportunities there for you. And we also have some representatives from our health insurance plan program that are going to go over some options that we're really proud to have been able to put together so that you may have some very interesting choices and hopefully drive your cost down on the health plan side. So again, we're going to cover the health plans, 401k MEP, which MEP is probably a new term for you. It was for me. It was based on some legislation that is outstanding for you and all the members of the trade associations we work with in terms of giving you the ability to drive down some administrative costs when you do provide a 401k for your staff. Andy's going to go over business insurance. Scott is going to go over our Batteries Plus Bulbs program. And just FYI, we just launched, as many of you may know, an ACE hardware program that gives you a minimum discount of 10% at ACE. And that's not only for your business needs, but also you can get the cards and present them at the store or online for your personal needs as well. And we're about ready to launch MSC Industrial Supply. We just signed a deal with them, and many of you may use them already. And whether you're an existing customer of theirs or not, you can participate in our program and get some price concessions and savings through MSC. Some of the logos, this is not all inclusive of all of our services, but gives you a pretty good idea of what we have. Facilities services, we have paint, gasoline, office supplies, travel, insurance, shipping. So a pretty comprehensive offering that we can help you in most areas that you need to run your business. Savings calculator on our website, which is membersavingsprogram.com/SMA. There's actually a little yellow button at the top that's a savings calculator, and that allows you to basically see what's in it for you and your business. It asks you how much you spend on things like tools, office supplies, insurance, and once you put in how much you spend a year on those services, it'll calculate for you based on historical averages what you should be able to in your own business be able to save. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Andy, who's been working with us for about 6 years now with various trade associations, including SMA, and doing a terrific job in terms of saving people money, but even more importantly, making sure they've got the right coverages for their business. So Andy, would you mind giving us a little overview?
Yeah, sure. Thanks again, Mark, for allowing me to talk, and thank you for the association for allowing Alliant to be part of. So I've been with Alliant for about 20 years now. We have about 200 offices throughout the United States, and we specialize in insurance programs for associates. We write numerous insurance programs for different associations in regards to different construction trades, property, tribal, with the Indian territories, car washes, yoga programs. So this is our specialty. One of the biggest things that we write for many of our construction trades is obviously general liability, workers' compensation, automobile, property, and umbrella. So we're doing all the major lines that you need for the insurance. Obviously, insurance, before you even step onto a job site, you need to have an insurance bit and confirmation that you have the right coverage from the GC or owner. And that's one of the things that we do pride ourselves in. We have a certificate online system where you can actually request the certificates online, as well as we have an email address, we would have a dedicated email address for this specific association in regards to requesting certificates of insurance. Now, one of the benefits of our program is we actually get out the certificates of insurance an hour of the request. So when you have that last minute job, you could probably get that certificate back within around 10 minutes or so. So to go back on liability, the workers' comp, the auto, the property, and umbrella, and we do save on most of the programs about 17% than the expiring policy. The reason why we're able to save that amount of money is for a couple of different reasons. One is obviously we use our leverage, we use our buying power, and my other associations prior to joining our program had residential exclusions. They had no completed operations for additional insureds. They had some major coverage deficiencies. And our programs that we provide for the associations do not have those deficiencies in them. So not only are you saving money with, on the insurance, but also you're getting a broader policy. I know Mark wanted me to include some information about the COVID issue, just to go over a couple things. One of the biggest things that we see on COVID, obviously everyone wants the business interruption. No one has business interruption coverage. But what we always say is if there's a question about the claim, always put in the claim. So that's something that we always advise our clients to do. So whenever you have a certain claim, you're questioning if it should be. Specifically now in regards to COVID, you never know if there's going to be a government agency or some type of legislation being passed months from now, years from now, where that could have been covered. So always send in that. You see here on this current slide, you have a whole bunch of resources that we are providing, and actually I can send over, to Mark as well. a updated return to work be very helpful. I think I sent it over to Mark earlier yesterday, but he can send it out to the group as well. But you know, the insurance is a big ticket item for you guys. We want to make sure you guys have the right coverage and paying the right premium, and our program will help you do that.
Terrific. Thanks, Andy.
No problem. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. As you know, many of you know out there, and Andy mentioned it, that business insurance is such a huge expense and big line item for you that if you can knock a few points off of that expense item, that really impacts the bottom line. So we've found people that have been not really understanding their total policy, and Andy has, as he said, put broader coverage in place and also more cost-effective coverage. So I'd highly encourage you to speak to Andy. He's been doing this a long time, and he really understands the association business. So great resource for you. With that, we'd like to transition. Go ahead.
There are clients out there who are doing some work where they completely don't have insurance because it's excluded. And you know, say is, you know, it doesn't cost anything. What you don't know is what you don't know. And if you have an exclusion, like I'll give you an example, like a residential exclusion, and you do residential work, you know, obviously that's 100% of your work if you do residential work. And can you imagine just having a residential exclusion on a policy? So that's what happens with a lot of the members prior to joining our program, reviewing the insurance. And it doesn't cost anything, and that's why we always want to take a look at the insurance policies to make sure you're aware of what you're actually purchasing.
That's a really good point. That's a great point, because what might be appropriate one year and then another year goes by and another year goes by, and maybe you have expanded some of your work and maybe you've gone into different areas of work, residential, commercial, et cetera, and to take a look to make sure you're covered for the right activity is very important. So appreciate that note, Andy, really do. We'd like to transition over to talk a little bit about what the MSP, Member Savings Program, can do for you from a health plan perspective and providing employee benefits and health coverage to your workers, as well as your 1099s if you have any folks that are 1099. And I'd like to introduce a gentleman named Michael Cachadorian, and also Brian Turner may be on the line as well. They head up our health plan program. We have been in business 17 years, and we have tried to bring a very comprehensive program that is meaningful to you and has some benefits that you don't see in many health plans. And we finally come up with this plan that offers you many different options. And I'd like to introduce Michael. Michael, would you give us an overview?
Sure. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Tara, for letting us participate in this program. As Mark said, my name is Mike Cachadorian. I work with Brian Turner on this. I don't see that he's logged into this particular event, but we're looking forward to working with Mark to offer this valuable program to the members of SMA. Brian and I have worked with Mark on some other associations. We're starting to get some really good feedback in terms of how this program fits in with what might be available to these either sole proprietors or small business owners in other parts of the country. We're really enthusiastic about the plans that we're going to present to you today. There's a number of features about this program that make it unique in the marketplace. Given the nature of this product and our commitment to maintain confidentiality, we're asked that you direct any specific questions that you might have to Brian after the webinar. His phone number and email will come up on one of the next couple of slides. So with that, let's get started. The enrollment for this program is open every month of the year. That enables people who maybe missed the deadline for the exchange or something changed for them throughout the year, and they're now looking for a solution for their medical care needs. they can get into this program at any month of the year. There's no need to wait. You could also, if you enrolled early or now and then decided a few months from now you wanted to enroll an employee, you could do that as well. We don't have the same kind of restrictions as some of the plans from the carriers have. The medical plans that we have are available in all 50 states. You might have employees in different states. If you're a small business and some of the states are close together, you might have people that live in different states that still work for you. This plan and the pricing would be available to any employees that work in any of the states that you have. And we've found just through talking to folks that have looked into the plan and enrolled in the plan that in many states, there's very few choices for sole proprietors or small businesses. And so the fact that we can offer this in all 50 states makes it really attractive. One of the things that you'll find when you go to the site, the enrollment site, is that we have uniform rates for all members between 18 years old and 64. There's no adjustment for age, gender, smoker status, or a specific state. So the rates that you see on our website and the plans that you see will be good for any age and any state. Another pretty important aspect of this, which Mark asked us to touch on, was that we can enroll as few as one person for your company. So you might have 3, 4, 5, 10 employees. We would only need one person to enroll in order to be able to offer the plan. You could, enroll a couple people, or you could have the flexibility of offering this as well to 1099 contractors. I know a lot of plans won't allow you to enroll 1099 contractors, but if this is something that you think makes sense for you, you'd be able to enroll not only your W-2 employees, but also 1099 contractors. We've had a number of clients that enrolled in the program, and they were able to save anywhere between $500 and $1,000 a month based on, what their ages were and what plans they selected and whatnot. So we've gotten really good feedback from folks that have looked into the plan. We're offering 6 different plan design options utilizing 2 national PPO networks of providers and hospitals on an open access basis. That means that there's no referral. So you could go to a specialist or you could go to a particular facility without needing to get a referral from a primary care doctor. One of the options is an HSA option, which I know a lot of people like that idea. It gives them the ability to put some money away on a tax-free basis and then utilize that for out-of-pocket expenses. Given the size of these 2 networks, these 2 PPO networks of providers, it's very likely that the doctors, the facilities that you're already using are going to be in our networks. The website, in addition to a medical plan, also shows additional coverage options to meet any specific needs you might have: dental, vision, an accident policy, and there's a guaranteed life insurance policy as well. The platform has been designed to be very easy to enroll. It's available 24/7. It's fully automated. You will go to this website that we're going to show you in a second, and what you'll see there are the plan designs and the pricing. And on the same website, you'll be able to enroll. And then if you do enroll, you'll get correspondence back from the folks through that site. So we did a survey not too long ago, and we had an overwhelming indication that the members thought this site was very easy to use. And the fact that it's available 24/7 kind of fits in pretty well with, people might be out on jobs during the day, not be able to, log into it, so they can come home at night or on a weekend and take a look at the pricing and the plan design. And of course, after you do that, if you've got any questions, Brian Turner's number and email address will be on the site. But the site to go to is here on the screen. It's https://eliteenroll.com/SMA. And that, you'll see your logo there. And then once you get to that site, it'll ask you for a rep code. And the rep code here is also on the screen. It's BTGA 2390. That will get you into the site. And the reason that we have some of these provisions in place is that this is a program that's offered on a limited distribution basis. SMA is one of the associations that is going to be able to offer this, and so some other associations, but it's not available to the general public. It's really a program that we've tried to carve out to be able to offer to, what I call aggregate pools of either members or employees. And so it's specifically geared for associations and franchise groups and those kinds of organizations that historically have had a hard time putting together a plan that would make sense for their members. So we're real happy when Mark came to us and asked us if this is something he can make available to MSP members. And then obviously, as a group that works with Member Savings Program, SMA is members are eligible for this program. So with that, I think that's, we've given you a lot of information. The site has logos where you can click on it and you can find out if your doctors happen to be in those networks. And as I said, the pricing is there. It's a really easy enrollment platform. You kind of walk through, and if for some reason during that process, if you get stuck, you can give Brian a call on the number that you see here. His number is also going to be on the site, and you could also email him because that'll be on the site as well. Thank you for participating today, and we hope that this solution works for some of you folks.
Mark, I think we've lost your voice. If you want to hit *6. There you go.
There we go.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I did it about four times, and fifth time was a trick, I guess. So sorry about that. Yeah, technology, our best friend, our worst enemy, right? So yeah, that was a great overview. Thank you, Michael. And one of the things, I don't know, I didn't catch this, but one of the things that has given me great comfort in the program as well, guys, is that 50,000 members in different trade associations are already participating in this particular health program. So this is not something new, and it's something that's tried and has been vetted by myself as well as a lot of other trade associations in the past. So something to definitely take a look at and see if you can't get some outstanding coverage, but also great pricing based on the aggregated buying power of our group. The next presenter is Mark Sywin. He is with Transamerica, who, as I mentioned, is the leading provider of 401k programs. And he'll go into a little detail about a new wrinkle that comes to mind with 401k programs. As of, I believe it was September, some new legislation last year was passed that allows the sharing, if you will, or aggregation of group members together under one 401k program, and it's called a MEP, and Mark will explain the details of that in a second. So Mark, thanks for joining us. Appreciate that.
Great, thanks Mark. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes,
Got
loud
you
and
fine.
clear.
Excellent, perfect. So again, my name is Mark. I'm Mark Sywin with Transamerica, and there's really only one slide we're going to cover today. So not too much information other than my name there on the first slide and the second slide. Don't worry, I'm not going to read everything out to you. But basically what I want to do today is explain some of the changes that have occurred with some of the legislation regarding 401k plans, and then what that means for you in regards with member savings. So the piece of legislation that Mark alluded to beforehand is, as of September 30th of last year, associations are now allowed to sponsor what are called multiple employer plans. And for those of you that are not familiar with multiple employer plans, or MEPs, which is what I'll call them from here on out, it's a grouping of retirement plans of different companies that are affiliated in some way, shape, or form together in order to create a larger plan. And if you're not familiar with how 401k plans are priced, essentially, but the more money and the larger your organization, the cheaper your plan essentially is. So what this has allowed us to do is allow associations to now sponsor these MEPs going forward. And Transamerica is the largest sponsor of MEPs in the nation. We control something between 25 to 30% of the entire market space in regards to MEPs. Now, what this means for you all, whether you have a plan or you don't have a plan, this will benefit for you more than likely. So for starters, for those of you that don't have a plan, this allows you to set up a 401k plan for your company and your employees at an extremely cost-effective price. And it essentially would mean lower billable fees and lower investment costs than you would if you went out and tried to do this on your own without the backing of other members of the association and their plans within the program. So that's step number one. Is for those of you that don't have plans, it's a great process to go through to see if one would be a fit for your company. And I'm sure that some of you are thinking right now, no, I don't want to participate or sponsor a 401k plan. I don't want to have to provide a matching contribution. I can't afford it right now. Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that you actually don't have to provide a match if you don't want to. There's definitely advantages to it, but by no means is it a requirement. You can set up a 401k plan that is completely run, or I shouldn't say run, but funded by the employee's deferrals out of their own paycheck. So again, there are advantages to that. I won't go into all the details of why you would do a match. There's there's things called compliance testing and things like that that go on behind the scenes, but that's something we would want to have a deeper conversation on. So those of you that don't have a plan currently, definitely reach out to us. We'd love to set up a time to talk to you about the different types of 401k plans that are available and see what might be suitable for your company. It wouldn't be a long conversation. I would usually anticipate about 20 minutes to determine whether or not a 401k is a fit for your company and also what type of 401k. At that point, we could then produce a proposal for you to take a look at to see if it's suitable for you. Now, on the other hand, is those of you that have plans. And I can already, again, hear people thinking, oh, well, I already have a plan. I don't need one. Well, what this means for you is that essentially your 401k plan, and I'm just going to say hypothetically here that you had $1 million in your 401k plan. The MEP, sponsored by Member Savings, is actually priced out as if your plan was $10 million. So immediately you're going to have a cost savings associated on your investments. And also, if you have billable fees, more than likely eliminate those billable fees for you as well. So not only from an investment perspective would we save you money, but also from a hard dollar billable cost to the company. And the types of savings you're probably asking, well, what does this really mean? What I'm generally use as an analogy is your mortgage. Most people out there, if you're homeowners, you're very familiar with your mortgage and the rate that you have. And the scenario that I tell people is, well, if I could reduce your mortgage by 1/4 to 0.5% with no fees, no closing costs or anything like that, would you take the lower interest rate? And usually the answer is a resounding yes. Why would you actually pay more for something that you have? So same scenario here is it's going to allow you to potentially substantially reduce those investment fees for you. And more than likely, if you've had a 401k plan for a number of years, you might have as much money in your 401k as you do in your mortgage. So you can imagine the savings that could impact you as an individual. Now, also what comes in with these programs, which is quite unique, and I would wager that most people do not have these features, is we've added in some fiduciary protection. And you might be asking, well, what does that mean, fiduciary protection? Well, for those of you that sponsor plans or are interested in sponsoring plans, you have fiduciary obligations. It's your job as sponsors of plans to look out in the best interest of your participants. And what that means is that you have a number of duties that are required of you every year or every couple of years that you need to perform. One of those is pricing your plan out, making sure you're paying for appropriate fees. So again, for those of you that have plans, this is a good opportunity just to do a price check on your plan, even if let's say the program isn't a fit for you and you want to stay where you're at. This would at least meet one of those fiduciary obligations. But other fiduciary obligations, there's a lot of things that go on with 401k plans behind the scenes administratively that, quite frankly, most plan sponsors aren't aware of. As somebody mentioned beforehand, you don't know what you don't know. Same scenario here. There's a lot of rules and regulations and certain things you're supposed to be doing to process things administratively correctly. Well, what we've done with this program is we've built in 2 layers of fiduciary protection. The first, and I think the most important one, is called a 316 fiduciary. What that'll do is we'll take your name as the individual off of the tax form that's listed there. So usually, John Doe's name is signing off on the 5500 tax form each year for your 401k. Your name comes off, and this 316 fiduciary's name goes on. So they are assuming legal responsibility of the administration of your plan. And what that means is if there is an error that would result in a fine from the Department of Labor, they are paying that fine since they are legally responsible rather than yourselves as the plan sponsor. But what this also means, and works out very nicely, is since they're becoming the administrator and they're responsible, they're going to do the work for you. which is also very important. So they're going to take legal responsibility and do that administrative work on your behalf. Because again, you don't know what you don't know. They don't want you to do something in error and then they have to pay a fine for it. I want you to think of it that way. So they would protect you administratively with this 316 service. That alone, for a small company of, let's say, 20, 30 employees, that 316 service alone is usually about $5,000 a year in a hard dollar cost billed to a plan sponsor. It's built into this program. Essentially, I don't like using the word free, but it's built into the cost savings. Also, the second layer is a 338 fiduciary, and that protects you on the investment side of things. If you haven't reviewed your investments in a long period of time, you haven't done a benchmarking, you don't know how you've picked out the funds that you've picked out or added and replaced funds, this is where the 338 comes in. They assume the legal responsibility of the investments being offered to your employees. They will pick the funds, they will monitor them, they have a process in place to monitor them, which is very important, and they will also remove and replace funds as needed. Let's just say hypothetically a fund manager decides to retire and nobody likes the new guy taking over. That's an option there where they would remove a fund, just as an example. So again, that service is built in, and what we've done is we've added in enough fiduciary protection, as much as we possibly can, that we're allowed to do so, and take you off the hook as much as we can. You're still responsible for monitoring the program to make sure it's an appropriate fit for you and your employees, but otherwise we've picked up all the rest of the slack for you. So in closing, what I want you to think about is this. For those of you that don't have a plan, now's a good time to take a look, just to see if it's a good fit for you. We're happy to have that conversation with you. And for those of you that do have a plan, if you've been with the same vendors for several years now and you haven't done a price check on your plan, this at the very least will satisfy that fiduciary obligation of ensuring that your fees are in line with the marketplace. I'm incredibly confident in saying that we will definitely be able to uncover a lot of fees for you that we can reduce or eliminate. So I definitely implore you to take a look at this program. So with that, I'll turn things back over to Mark. And Mark, if you have any other questions for me, I'm pretty much set on my side.
That's fantastic, and thanks for the overview, Mark. Let me ask you one question. Because we're offering this to the 35 associations in addition to the SMA members, as this program grows, the whole asset base grows, what does that mean for an SMA member?
Excellent question. So what that means is as we have more and more adopters into the program, the plan just gets bigger and bigger. Think of it like pushing a snowball down a hill. Starts off kind of small, starts off kind of slow, but at a certain point, you don't want to get in the way of the thing because it's so big and so massive and moving so fast. Same scenario here. So as we have more members from all the associations joining into the program, every year Transamerica goes back and reprices the plan. So initially, right now, before we have people jumping into the plan, we've priced the plan out as essentially a $10 million plan. So you can imagine if you're a $2, $3, $4 million plan, you're going to have some savings right off the bat. Once we reach $10 million, we're going to automatically reprice that plan, and annually each year we're going to keep repricing the plan. So that means your fees hopefully will be going down every single year as we reprice the program. So it's obviously in everybody's best interest to try to generate as much interest in this so people at least take a look. Because again, for people maybe that have a larger plan where this might not be a fit for you right now, it will be in a short period of time as we have more members jumping into the program. You know, as the old saying goes, the rising tide lifts all ships. That's exactly the scenario here. So the more members that we have joining and participating in this program to increase the asset base, the faster we're going to be able to reduce the fees on top of what we've already reduced them to with this program.
Excellent. Thanks for that clarification. One other quick thing. When you refer to a current 401k, your 401k plan, you're speaking collectively of all the employees' contributions and assets under one company. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, because otherwise there's a lot of rich people out there I'm not aware of.
yeah. No, it's at the company level. So if you're interested in having us do a quick review of the plan, grab a pen and paper. I'll tell you exactly what we'll need here on this call. It's very simple. You're going to need a copy of your fee disclosure from the plan level. As a participant, you get one every year. That's called a 404A5. We don't need that one. We need the one that's called a 408B2 fee disclosure. Again, that's 408B2 fee disclosure. I don't make this stuff up myself, unfortunately. That's the plan level disclosure. That's going to list all of your investments, the fees associated, and any billable fees for the plan as well. On top of that, it's always useful to grab a copy of as recent an asset statement at the plan level as we can get. Again, just to review those fees and see where money is currently allocated amongst the investments. And then lastly, if you can get your hands on it, it's not imperative, a copy of what's called your adoption agreement or plan document, because we'd be happy to take a look at your plan design and make recommendations as well if there's a more efficient way to run your plan. Let's say if you have a match or something like that, or if you have testing issues, we can take a look and make recommendations on how to fix those tests. So again, we would need those pieces of information, and we can do a side-by-side comparison of your plan versus the MEP program that we're talking to you about today. And kind of lay it out very clearly, kind of what each program entails, what you get, and what you pay for each of them.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the overview. And that's a real exciting development, guys. So those of you that haven't decided to provide a 401k, maybe it's a good time to look at it, because the costs, obviously, with this MEP legislation are going down. And those of you that already have one, it might be a way to save money on something you're doing already. So Mark, thanks again. We'd love to introduce one additional vendor that we just launched, Batteries Plus Bulbs. Scott Rule is with us. He handles national accounts, including association relationships. And we've had a very fast start, and the members across our associations have adopted the Batteries Plus Bulbs program very, very quickly. And we want to give you a quick overview. So Scott, would you tell us a little bit about the program?
Happy to. Thanks, Mark. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yep, all good.
Great. So, as Mark mentioned, I represent Batteries Plus Bulbs. We're thrilled to have worked with Member Savings to create this agreement for SMA, and we're excited to roll it out. It is a custom special program that's been developed. You can see discounts up to 73% off of retail price, with discounts on everything else as well. So I'm going to take you through, if you go to the next slide, start diving into a little bit more about us. So we've got over 720 locations across the country. So you've got access to expertise and advice literally almost right around the corner. 7 days a week we are open. So our local sales associates can provide support not only at the store, but we can also visit your locations to provide on-site service and consultants. So we not only provide 60,000 different varieties of batteries and light bulbs, but we also have the people and the expertise to ensure we help you maximize matching the product with the right application. So we'll dive into the batteries. This is just a snapshot, over 41,000 different varieties of batteries. They range from a wide variety of applications. You've got alkaline batteries, coin cell batteries, power tool batteries, vehicle batteries. The list goes on and on. We even build custom batteries. So our associates are experts and can help you find the right product for the right application. Light bulbs, more than 24,000 variety of lighting products. Similar to batteries, our associates can advise you on, identifying the right lighting product for the right application, taking into consideration employee safety, customer experience, overall use of the building, indoor, outdoor. We'll work with you to provide a full return on investment, especially when it comes to an LED conversion that many folks are moving towards, and we'll even help you with the energy rebate access part of it that reduces the upfront costs. So more than products, we also provide device repair. So you can work with us to repair your cracked screens, button repair, charge port repairs, battery replacements, battery charging, even key fob and key repair services are available. So in many cases, having us actually repair your tablet or your smartphone is less expensive than actually replacing it. So we'll help you do that math to determine what's a better solution. So finally, you know, in summary, as I've kind of taken you quickly through our approach, you know, you've got aggressive discounts, accessibility to our stores and our expert associates 7 days a week. Our associates can come out and do site walk visits to give you the expertise. The key in this environment is you can see with all the different varieties of batteries and light bulbs, matching the right product to the application can sometimes take expertise. And so that's what we're there to help you with. Again, discounts up to 73% off our retail price. I know that Mark has set up some linkages, registration pages to get started, or on the screen you can see there's an 800 number, or you can email us at member@batteriesplus.com, and we'll get you set up and you can get started. And so that is a quick rundown of the agreement.
Well, thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. That was nice and concise. That's I need to take a page out of your book. It's been awesome. And one little note on this, folks, is that I always vet our programs personally. And I have had the opportunity and real pleasure, actually, to visit a Batteries Plus Bulbs store 3 times. One before we did the agreement to get a flavor for the customer service and the knowledge of the sales associates, and was very, very pleased with that, no doubt. And once the agreement actually was signed, I coincidentally had a battery issue with my laptop, and the experience was even better the second time when I walked into a different store to test the second store, and they helped me out with my battery for my laptop. And then about 3 days later, my key fob battery went out on me for my car. So I went to yet another store and had a great experience. So I can personally say, and I'm raising my right hand, that they really are a terrific company to work with. And again, as I said, members have really gotten off to a fast start and embraced this program. So Scott, thanks very much for the overview, and thanks to all your sales associates that have helped me out too.
Our pleasure.
So in summary, and if there are any questions, Tara, that we might want to address, we believe we can help SMA members in many, many areas. And again, that key URL to go to where you'll see all the services that we've talked about today, ranging from insurance, 401k, Batteries Plus Bulbs, you know, all of our services, our tools, our gasoline, etc. All those savings programs are on that one page with the particular URL there. So, Tara, any questions from you by any chance?
I do not have any questions, and I'm not seeing any in the chat. So everybody that's online, if you have any questions, you can either type those in the chat, or you can unmute yourself if you're calling from the phone by clicking *6 if you would like to ask a question, or if you're from a computer, just unmute yourself at the bottom left corner. Are there any questions? So I have a question that says, are plans in place for software purchases in the member savings program, such as Microsoft Office, CAD, CAM, bookkeeping, etc.?
Good question. We do have a relationship with Hewlett-Packard, both for personal purchases as well as business purchases. If you're going to buy multiple units, let's say, we have an individual representative that's assigned to us to work with businesses. And we also have an employee portal where you and your staff, or your family members for that matter, can also go. And I can share that with you after the webinar, and with Tara, we can get that information out to you. But my point being, Hewlett-Packard has some special deals for software bundles in addition to their own products. So yes, indeed we do.
Great.
Good question.
Awesome.
One of the things, if we're waiting for any more questions, one thing I'd like to mention before closing is that when you look at these programs, and just take a few minutes to do so, it doesn't take a long time, and it certainly doesn't take a long time to go to the URL on your screen and just literally tick boxes and tell us which services you might want to look at. If you add up a couple of $100 in savings here, 500 there, a couple thousand there, all of a sudden you've got some real money we're talking about. And not only will you save money this month, next month, but for years to come. So I would highly encourage you to take just a few minutes and check out what is available and do some price comparisons, because you might be very, very happy that you did that for many, many years to come. I get calls, unfortunately, because of our COVID-19 situation, from members that literally tell me they were going through their email inbox trying to clean it up, and they saw an email from the member savings program from 2016 or 17, and they said, yeah, I saw it a few years ago, but it seemed like a good idea, but I just didn't address it, and now I really need to tighten my belt for my business, and I do need to save some money where I can, and it's important to me now, so can we talk about it? So I would encourage you in good times as well as more challenging times to take a look at what we do bring to the table for you, because it's there to be had, and can put some extra money on your bottom line very, very quickly.